Hey everyone, it's Chris here from Everyday Survival Gear, and today we will be reviewing the Brinyte Artemis T16. Put the laser on. Let's see if I can get you guys with a laser. Yeah, you can see it working. Greeny. Basically a tri-head flashlight with a laser in the middle. That's made for hunting. Very unique design and something very different. And also, if you notice differences in my camera, it's adjusting like 1,000 times. I've broken my phone, so no reviews for the last couple of weeks, and I'm using an older phone until my new one comes. It's coming from Hong Kong, so it's probably going to take another 2 weeks. Who knows? But maybe we'll get this review done by the time the phone gets here. Now, let's just get it started. Alright guys, I hope that you can see okay, kind of see the light, at least good enough. The screen on this phone is pretty scratched up, so I can't see it too well. Yeah, so basically Brinyte sent me this light, the Artemis T16. It's spelled Artemis, and then T16 is the model name. They didn't send me any specs, so all these specs are purely mine that I'm going to give you guys. So obviously the size and the weight I can give you is going to be pretty sweet. That should be correct at least. I'll be hoping. But all the other specs are a bit iffy. I'm not 100% sure because I'm not too well versed on different colored LEDs. So basically, we'll just run over the basic specs first. So it is pretty heavy at 324 grams. So I understand that this does have, 3 LEDs that are different colors. But considering it's supposed to be a hunting light, it is fairly heavy. I can't help but think that if they would have just used a reflector system, they could have cut down the size, but because this is a zoomy, it's an adjustable zoom, that does add extra weight. They both got pros and cons. I don't really want to start this review off on a negative side because I quite like this light. It's very unique and very different, and it is pretty cool. So you got like your dual tail switches and whatnot. It is a cool light, but sometimes the size is a little bit too big, I personally think, if you want to take it hunting. 18 centimeters long. So basically each head is 33 mils, so 3.3 centimeters. With this camera it's going to be a little bit hard. Let me just move it up here. So 3.33 mils, 3.3 centimeters across there. And the total is 68.2 mils. So basically I just measured from here to here because it's a triangle. They should all be the same size. Isn't that how triangles work? I hope. I'm not very good at maths. Basically it's got a dual clicky. So one of the clickies controls the inbuilt laser. So it does have a laser diode in the middle. Is that still on? That's still on. So I can show you guys there. And then the other switch, the moon shaped switch, we'll call it Moony. That controls the different color LEDs. So we've got a green, we've got a blue, and we've got a red. It is actually super bright, so that is a plus, I guess. It is bloody bright. What else? So what I can tell you about the LEDs is basically there's a blue, green, and red one. They appear to be Cree XPEs, so we'll take it apart and I'll show you guys what they look like. I can give you a rough estimate of what I think the outputs would be. Blue output could be up to about 120 lumens at the LED. Green could be up to about 360 lumens at the LED, and red could be up to about 250, maybe 300 lumens, somewhere around about there. I have seen spec'd better XPEs than what I'm saying, so I gave you good numbers, but probably not the best that you can get out of these LEDs. It's just a bit hard for me to test because they are different colors, so it doesn't work the same on the light meter. Basically, the lenses are 30 mils. Cree actually rate these Cree actually rate the LEDs at a max drive current of 1 amp. So that's what I measured them at. I went on Cree's website and I measured what they could be getting at 1 amp. The different colors do have different brightnesses and whatnot. So yeah. I'm not sure. It would have kind of helped if they would have given me specs. I can tell for sure that they are XPE LEDs, but I'm just not too sure because they don't tell you the binning, and I really do not know much about binning with the XPEs, unfortunately. That's pretty much all the specs that I wrote down actually. So let's pull it apart now. Alright, so as I've said 100 times, but I'll tell you guys one more time. Dual tail switches. It looks a little bit fuzzy on this phone, I know. Sorry guys. It will pull it apart. It does have knurling here to get the tail cap off easy, but for some strange reason, it does kind of have a little gap there. So the whole story behind this light is, I know Brinyte sent it to me. Basically, I commented in one of their threads on Budget Light Forum saying that these lights look cool, because these are like cool looking lights, and it seems very innovative, which it is, because you know you got 3 different color LEDs that are all separate. And they said, you know, we'll gladly send you one. And then after they sent it to me, they asked me to review it, which I don't mind. I've already done that review about 6 weeks ago on Budget Light Forum, 5-6 weeks ago, where I pulled it apart. But I figured it's such an interesting light, I might as well put it up on YouTube too. So they didn't tell me whether they sent me the final product or not. That's one of the problems. Other problem is there was no specs, but they were kind enough to send a battery with it. Not this one. This is a Lumitop cell. I don't even know where I got that battery from. So yeah. So this light has already been apart once, and I can already tell you that it does need more work. But if it's not a finished product, that's understandable. But I can't really comment on that either. I can't really be 100% sure. This tail cap is a bit of a pain in the ass. So we'll just take it apart. So you got this part here. Basically same tail cap style. It is a grounding ring. It is plastic here, so plastic on metal. You got to be watch out with the threads. So that sits up like so. Alright guys, so I just went ahead and took it out. What I forgot was that this isn't actually a retaining ring. It doesn't need to be unscrewed. This is the actual tail cap itself. So as we can see, this big slide fits into here. And as I believe that part is the laser. Yep, so that part's the laser, and this moon part is to change the settings, as I have said before. Basically this seems to be an electronic switch, so there'll be no mechanical break in there. So the laser is run on an electronic switch, and the actual flashlight itself is run on a mechanical switch. So we go now, we can see that that's a mechanical switch. Basically, yeah. Forward clicky, I would say. Could be a reverse clicky. I'll have to try it when I go outside. And the electronic switch there. We'll leave that part apart and we'll go further on to the light. We'll take out one of these LEDs, whichever one's easiest. My hands are full of grease right now. Because the megapixel count is lower on this phone, it's kind of annoying. So you do have a O-ring that sits underneath the lens. So that's right now, that's in my finger. And the lens is this plastic, what are they called, like polycarbonate, something. So it's not glass. It's the same style lens that's used inside like a B158 and whatnot. So we'll pull this one out. I'm pretty sure this is the blue color one. So this is typical stock retaining ring. That's white. They could make this black and make the beam pattern a little bit better. And here's the LED. And that's just the centering ring. I'll try and take the centering ring out. So I don't know how well you guys can see it. It's not really focusing. Is it going to focus? Well, this is pretty much why I chose not to do a video, because I knew it was going to be a pain in the ass, but it's okay. I would say this is probably the green LED. That will be the blue one, and that's obviously the red one. So you can see they do, at least the red one kind of looks like a XPG. So you can tell that that one's definitely a Cree XPE. And this one here, well, let me have a look closer up. Give me a sec. It's a little bit hard to see, so I might just pull out all of these actually. I think I've probably got to grab a cloth to wipe them down. My hands are greasy. Yeah, don't do that at home, kids. It's not glass, so that should be okay actually. You'd probably be more worried, oh damn, if you like crack the sides of it than anything else. You can see one of the centering gaskets is different because I lost one when I took it apart the first time, which is generally why I don't always take apart lights now when I do my written reviews, because you do sometimes get that problem. In some parts they're not factory replaceable, like, you know what I mean, parts, so if you lose it, you're stuffed. And this isn't going to focus anyway, I don't think. I'll try and put it up here. Nah. Alright, so yeah, so you can see it now. Oh my god, it was just focusing. Far out, mate. So you can see the boards are actually the same boards as you'll find in the B158, or what's the other light that they sent me? The S41 or something? The Brinyte S18. So they're actually the same LEDs that I found inside that. So which one makes more sense? Well, you know, you got your B158, which you can replace the pills in anyway. So it's a pretty hard choice. Me personally, I wouldn't bother with this blue LED, and I'd put in a white one. I'd just throw in like an XPG2, which is actually what I'm gonna do after I do the after I take the beam shots. I'm going to put in my own white LED, and I think that will work out a lot better. I haven't actually been able to access the driver in this because it doesn't come apart here. It looks like, I don't think it's even glued on. I think it might be one piece. I'd have to double check that. And you got to undo these beefy little screws here, which I'll try and undo off camera in a minute, and I'll see how I go. You know, basically overall, it's a fun little light. No qualms. It just needs to be finished. Like, I'm not going to get out Brinyte and say it's a bad light, because it's a good light and it's a very innovative design. The knurling here is very nice. You know, it makes the adjustable head easy to focus. The build quality is outstanding overall. I've been using this now for quite a while, and my niece and nephew were playing with it because it's got different color lights, and you know, they're pretty rough with stuff and nothing's happened. I can't really tell you the anodizing. It looks like hard anodizing type 3 with a shiny finish, but we'll just check the hardness. So you guys can, bloody hell. So you guys can see that, right, that I just scratched there. Is this thing gonna focus? I don't know if there's too much light, not enough light in here. So, you know, I just scratched that there, and it's not even wearing. So it's got a few little issues that need to be finished, but once this light is in full production and the light's finished, I really see like no problems at all with the light. I think when I replaced the tail cap, it didn't go down the whole way, but now it's going down the whole way. So you can see that even the tail cap does sit on properly, but when I had my tail cap set up in there, maybe it wasn't sitting down far enough because it wasn't closing properly. Yeah, I'm going to try and take this apart, and if I can get it apart, I'll show you guys that. Otherwise, we'll just take it outside and I'll show you all the different colors. Alright, just to show you guys that I'm not completely insane, even though I probably am, there is actually 2 retaining rings in here. This part here is the other retaining ring, so that's why I kind of thought that other one was a retaining ring. So you got to remove this to get this plastic bit out, which I find is kind of weird. I don't know how they will work this tail cap out. Like, I know it's dual switches, but this isn't the only light on the market with dual switches. There must be like an easier way, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. It's not bad, but it's just very quirky. Very, very quirky. And I'm not sure if I told you guys, but with this switch here, the one that controls the laser, they put an extra piece of like rubber boot in here so that the laser would make proper contact. Now, I'm not going to say that it's going to go to market like that, because Brinyte is a very good brand. Brinyte, Orca Torch, they're all very well respected brands, and I own many of their lights that I brought out of my own money. But like, if you're going to send out a sample and it's going to be like that, like, kind of give me a warning or tell me. But that's okay, because they said that they'll take on board what I said, and yeah, so we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so just to amend what I said before, I pulled it back apart, as you guys seen. You seen the tail cap, with you all those different retaining rings and whatnot. I just pulled the whole thing apart and I got it back together, and it's now sitting down flush, so it's no longer sitting too high like it was before. Just the other retaining ring that holds the plastic in was still a little bit too high, so that didn't make it go down flush, and it's all back together now. I have not yet actually tried to take it apart, but I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to head outside. Alright guys, that wasn't actually as hard as what I thought it would be. So I know this probably isn't going to focus and whatnot, so there's probably no point of showing you guys. I might try and update this video when my new phone comes in, whenever the hell that is. I can tell you right now, so I was going to mod an S2, so I brought an S2 Plus outside. So that doesn't really help, does it? No, it's overexposing now. So it's a bit hard to show you guys, but that's basically a empty driver that they're using there as a partition board. So you know, all the positive, negative LEDs run straight from out of that board. So I can't tell you what size it is because I can't get that out. And then this is basically the driver. I think the laser should regulate itself. That appears to be the laser diode there. So that is actually heat sunk properly, which is good to know. And this appears to be the driver here. So you can see positive and negative wires coming out. I could unsolder all of these, but I don't have my soldering iron on right now. So you can, oh, screw just fell out. I don't know where that came from. It's going to be a fun night. So you can see the driver there. Very basic board, nothing too high tech, but that is the driver. You can see the LED does actually connect to this board, so I'm not quite sure if that circuitry is for the LED diode itself. Sorry, the laser, not the LED. So it appears that the laser does actually connect to this board too. I'm pretty sure the lasers can just run off straight power and that they can regulate themselves, but yeah. So you know, you have like your memory control chip there. I don't know what that is. That looks like a little I don't even know. It's a bit hard. I just undone this like right now, so I literally haven't had a chance to go over it yet. So you got your resistors there for current. I believe this part is probably part of the laser section. That's probably there to buck down voltage to the laser. And there appears to be a little MOSFET on this side, a very, very tiny one. Yeah, so nothing too advanced there, but didn't really expect anything too advanced anyway. But it's just interesting, like the way that the PCB is actually shaped out and stuff. That's pretty cool. Considering they didn't really need to make the PCB this shape, they could have just made it like just one section, and that's all that they would have needed. But they decided to go this route, so that's cool. Alright guys, now we're outside with the Brinyte Artemis T16. I got the laser on, so you can see the laser at the back wall there. The laser isn't super powerful, it's just okay. It probably reminds me of like one of those working lights that measures distance, something similar to that. So we'll go to the tree at 100 meters. I'm not sure if it will show up on the camera. No, that's a bit stupid of me. It's not going to show up on the camera, obviously. But yeah, that's the laser at work. So I'll turn the laser off now. And here we go. We got the blue LED on first. So you can see it is fairly bright. I'm not too sure about my estimate of 100 and something lumens because I can't really measure it. So it was basically like what I said, just an estimate. Like where stuff has been dropped on the floor, you can see it does come up as a lot wider than the rest of it. So you can see how that white stuff all over there kind of stands out compared to the sand. We'll put the zoom in. So that's the zoom in some of the way. So if we go to the back wall now, you can see it does a pretty good job of lighting it up. Obviously the truck over there and the seat to the tree. We'll put the zoom the whole way in. Whoops, wrong way. So that's the zoom the whole way in. It does have a little bit of a ringy beam, but you can fix that just by adjusting the retaining ring, the retainer for the LED gasket. So you can see it kind of lights up all over there. That's blue, that'll be bright. We'll go to the tree at 100 meters, and to me it gets there. I can see it. It's not like super bright, but I don't think it's supposed to be, but I can see it working. I think blue is probably the dimmest color out of all of them, I would say. We'll push and hold and see what color comes next. So pushing and holding then takes us to red from blue. You can see this is probably brighter than the blue color. At least in my eyes it appears brighter. It's actually a darker red than the red that comes in the S18, I think. It appears to be a little bit darker. Could be wrong there, but yeah, it does a pretty good job of lighting up the backyard. Not bad. I can see everything pretty easy. We'll adjust the zoom a little bit. Oops, wrong one. I just adjusted the wrong side. What are they paying me for? If only they were paying me. I could afford to buy more lights to review. So you can see the seat very well. You can see the little truck there very well. The little digger. Clothesline fine. You know, you can see the tree fine. You can make out details, you know, you can even see that little tree. In my eyes, personally, I can see that tree pretty easy. It looks better than it does on the camera. The beam actually looks a lot darker than it does on the camera too. We'll put the zoom the whole way in. And there is what your LED dial looks like. Square. And you can see the two bonding wires going to the LED. So this tree closest first, so it gets there easy. And then to 100 meters, it does get there. Not sure if you guys will be able to make that out, but I can see that pretty cruisy. We'll come back over here, we'll just have a look around the yard. So it's actually probably too bright for that little truck and for the chair. So it's overall, you know, the red color is a little bit brighter than the green, and it's not too bad. Probably for optimal brightness and width, you probably want it somewhere around about here, I'd say, because that works out really well. Now we'll push and hold, and we'll get to the green. So green is definitely the brightest color by far, but it's actually not showing on the camera as well as the rest, but it is easily the brightest color. It lights up the whole backyard. I can see everything very clearly. So this old phone, being like 4 years old now, 5 years old probably, the camera color isn't actually the best. It's showing everything a lot different to what my other camera would. But that's the backyard lit up. Very good. We'll put the zoom in a little bit on this. So we'll put it down to about there. You know, you can make out the tree pretty easy with my eyes. I don't know about with the camera, but with my eyes you can easy. Over here to the truck and the chair. Does a really good job. I think red's the color that doesn't disrupt the eyes the most. So green does disrupt your night vision, but not as much as clear light. But then the green is also a lot brighter too. So we'll put the zoom in. You can see this has got a pretty tight hotspot. Looks similar to the red, but it is actually a lot brighter. It's kind of washing out the tree, you can see on the camera. If we just go here to the truck, it looks too bright for the camera, even on the chair. To the first tree, my lemon tree, and then to the tree at 100 meters. So not sure how well you guys can see that, because I can't see it on the camera, but yeah, it gets there really easy. One other notable feature is you can put the laser on at the same time, so not sure why you would need to, but if you want to point something out to someone, I guess you could like track it with the laser like so, while you still got the light on them too. I guess that could be handy. So if it's meant to be gun mounted, I'm not sure like what a maximum weight would be, what you'd want to have on a gun. It depends on your type of gun too, whether it's a rifle and your type of shooting. I don't quite think it's going to fit on a handgun, obviously. On a bigger rifle, I guess it shouldn't be a problem. And it really depends. So, like, yeah, 324 grams, I think it is. It is a little bit on the heavier side. That is without the battery, I should say. So it's getting close to 400 grams with the battery. So, yeah, overall size isn't actually too big, but then again, it's not tiny. So I think it's kind of one of those lights that you probably want to see up in action and in person, and it might be good for you, then it might not. Personally, I'm probably going to change out the blue LED and put a clear one in, because that'll be more use to me. Don't really need the blue one, I don't think. Like, considering, you should still be able to follow trails and whatnot with the red LED just fine. One thing that I have noticed is that the green is actually a lot wider. It goes from all the way over there to all the way over there, and that's with the zoom the whole way out. So you do lose a little bit of light with the green. Yeah, so it's the best color for throw and for flood. Anyway, guys, I've been rambling on now for quite a while. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's pretty interesting to pull it apart to see how it works. And as always, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching, guys.